I'm really angry. I was a bit upset at first, but I've just been really angry all afternoon, not been able to do any work.
And what are you angry about?
I'm angry because I felt when I went to give evidence and I was cross-examined, I knew it was going to be difficult, but I found it very humiliating and degrading.
How did it make you feel when you were in the witness box, being spoken to in that way?
I feel like I can remember the defence barrister sort of smiling when he would trip me up with words and say, oh, what did you mean by this and what did you mean by this? And it was very confusing, and it was just scary, actually.
Why didn't you go to the police at the time?
The next day I got on the train home and I did Google sort of victim support. I didn't find much for men, and I was very conscious of the fact that because he was a public figure, what this would mean with it being in the press and in the papers, and the fact that I used to work in Parliament, so even though I would get anonymity, every one of my old friends would know, and I didn't want people to know. But eventually I decided that I had to do something because I thought that it might happen again.
There was a message that went to party whips earlier on about his behaviour, and you had been working in Parliament too. Do you feel that the parties took it seriously at the time?
I don't think any of the main parties know what to do. The strange place about Parliament is that they make the laws, but they don't act like any other place that they, like any other place of business. Researchers and MP staff don't even have a HR department. We have where our bosses are technically, as it were, self-employed, and we're all small businesses, so we have, even though we work in one big building together, there was no mechanism to deal with this problem. There still isn't.
So you were too scared of the potential public ramifications if you told the police?
Yeah.
And the political parties you didn't feel would take it seriously enough?
No, I know that, they're certainly aware that there are MPs and young 20-something researchers who are vulnerable because they fear for their careers, and all the hard work that they do could just be thrown away in an instant. And I think a lot of people, senior people, count on that it can be brushed under the carpet.
Do you accept, though, that different people have different interpretations of what is acceptable, especially in a highly charged environment when there's a lot of alcohol around?
Yeah. There are some young researchers who certainly enjoy the contact and that they get, and that's entirely up to them, but there are plenty, if not most, who don't appreciate that at all, and they just want to work, and they got into politics because they want to change the world, but they find that when they get there that they've got to put up with a lot of stuff.
But some of the witnesses in this case said they didn't feel like victims.
I think that's part of a cultural problem, that they acknowledged that something happened and the other side acknowledged that something happened, but that was okay. But
during the trial, some of the evidence did change.
I know that, that if you're a defence barrister, you're going to pick apart everything, that's your job. I don't feel that my evidence changed. I feel like when I properly spoke to police and gave my interview, which was recorded, that from then on, you know, my line was very clear. Yeah, I think so. That's my opinion on that.
There have been suggestions some of this was some kind of plot.
I don't understand the logic behind that. I've lost everything in this last year and had to slowly rebuild my life. I had ambitions for a political career after working in Parliament, and I don't see that as a real possibility anymore, and it's taken me almost a year to get a new job outside of politics.